want to say that, you know, a big part of this is that we have a lot of fun doing it, and I think that's one of the things that we all need to try and get over in our heads, the fact that doing nice stuff or kind stuff, people tend to think it diminishes you or that you're going to have less if you give it. We're very unashamed about this. Like, well, we're in this to have a lot of fun, and we're in this because it's really good for us, and we love the fact that we get to help a lot of people, but we're doing it because we've worked out the best way to help ourselves and to have the most fun that we can have is to help as many people as we can possibly help. So it's kind of like selfish algebra we've worked out, and that's why we do what we do. I'm going to hand you over to Rob for a quarter of an hour here, so give him a round of applause, make him welcome, all right?
Don't know about a quarter of an hour. Don't want to take up that much of your time. Getting big companies to hand over stuff, big lorry loads, is a pretty amazing thing, and positive thinking does work. But the most miraculous thing about all of this is that once these young lads were actually shown how to do this, they started thinking about other people. They started thinking about doing it for other folks. They didn't just fill their house up with stuff that they wanted for themselves and shut the door. They realized it was possible to do it, and they started doing it for people who needed it, and they started answering calls for help. And what you saw there is a small example. Go onto YouTube, the Kindness Offensive site, and have a look at the videos. There's over 40 videos of different events happening, things being given away to people who some of them really needed them, some of them it put a smile on their faces, but it's quite a beautiful thing that this thing transferred itself from a technique to get the companies to hand over something to something that could help people. And it wasn't my suggestion. In my heart, I would have suggested it, but I would have thought maybe it would be rejected, and I didn't want to be responsible for aiming it in that direction. This is something they came up with themselves, and they deserve a real round of applause for that, because that's a nice thing. Some of us remember the 60s, and we remember a movement of people who were wandering around saying peace and love and protesting the war. Yeah, that sounds familiar to some of us. Not everyone remembers the fact that Time magazine put out the publication worldwide about the hippies in Ashbury, and the fact that there were a lot of people there who were part of a movement for peace and love, which caused a lot of young people who were leaving home to head out there. They all started falling into San Francisco by the truckload. And there was one small group of people there who understood what this meant. And it meant that what was going to happen to all these young people is that they were going to be hungry, and they were going to have nowhere to stay, and they were going to get disillusioned. So instead of just taking that on as a fact and saying, okay, well, that's what's going to happen, they started going to restaurants and getting all the food that was being thrown away. And they were called the diggers, and they used to dig out the food that was being thrown away, and they used to recycle it and feed it to these young kids that were coming in. And that's what actually supported the whole 60s hippies, peace and love movement, was a small group of people who were willing to care enough about the fact that these guys coming into town, they wanted a new life, they wanted a new ideal, they didn't really understand what they were doing. They'd run away from home, they saw this thing in Time magazine where something fun was happening in San Francisco, they ended up there. But they were met with love. And that's the most important thing about all this. I'm not going to spend a lot more time talking to you about it. It's just a nice thing that the love that's involved in these things is what actually generates it and makes it happen. Don't think you need to be calling big companies to get them to send you an 18-wheeler lorry before you can join the Kindness Offensive. Just do something loving if you get the chance to do it, and see how good it feels. And if you get addicted like we've gotten addicted, then you'll do more and more and more. I dare you to try it. A lot of you already have. You know it feels good to do nice things. And it's the love in this that really makes it worth looking at. It's the love in this that really makes it worthwhile all across the board. And I'm proud to be part of it, because it's something that I think can really make a difference, and I think it's something we can all join in on. Put a smile on someone's face, let them ahead of you in a queue, give some change to someone who needs it. Don't worry about if you're going to get it back or not, because the satisfaction of actually just doing it and seeing the person being helped should be enough as it is. And if you get more than that, then it's a bonus. But yeah, go out there and find it somewhere else, see it everywhere, tell people that if you feel nice about it, they should be encouraged to do the same. And the world will be a better place. Don't wait till 2012 before the world can be better. Make it better today. That's it.